Welcome to our next video. In this video, we'll be setting up some feeders in Geo's garden and doing a garden birdwatch there, as well as giving you some information about another very special urban bird.
So, obviously we didn't get any birds on our garden birdwatch, but one good way to attract birds to your garden is by using bird feeders and putting bird seed or mealworms in them, as we have here.
So we're just going to talk you through quickly some of the good practice for putting bird feeders up, and then put some in the garden, and in a few weeks' time we'll come and do another garden birdwatch and see what we find.
Okay. So, with the bird feeders, it is really important to prevent the spread of disease between birds. What you're going to want to do is wear gloves and clean them with a mild disinfectant or, for example, an antibacterial wipe, just to make sure that no bird droppings or any sort of debris is left on the bird feeder, so it's nice and clean for them to use.
Another important thing to remember is that you don't necessarily want to put too much food in at once. That's because if you fill it all the way up and it takes a long time for the birds to actually find your bird feeder and eat it all, then the food that's at the bottom will get quite mouldy and it might not be good for eating anymore. So what we recommend is putting a little bit in and just filling it up every day.
So we've got our two feeders in the tree here. We've got a little one with mealworms down here and a big one with sunflower seeds up here. Hopefully next time we can get some birds in the garden.
Yeah, so stay tuned and we will keep you updated on what comes into Geo's garden.
So we are back today in my rented accommodation garden, the concrete square. We've cleaned the bird feeders and refilled them with mealworms and a seed mix, and we're going to see if after a couple of weeks there's any sort of difference in what we can see.
Yeah. Do you think in the time since we last looked in the garden that the birds have made use of the feeders?
Definitely. When I went to check, the mealworm feeder was completely empty, which is a really good sign. And we did see some blue tits towards the just after our last birdwatch. So we know that they're about and we know that they're using it, which is great. So.
Well, that's excellent
Yeah.
news. Hopefully we'll get at least one more bird this time than we did in the 20 minutes last time.
Definitely, yeah. So, just take to watching the pigeons up on the big trees, think we really.
Yeah. I'm going to scan your tree for bees.
Yeah, I did have a little look. I don't think there's anything on there just yet.
Oh, bumblebee.
Bumblebee! Bumblebee.
Let's just see if I can identify this one.
Has it gone?
I think it has, yeah.
I can't see it.
No.
Time is up now as well.
Damn.
Yeah. 20 minutes in your garden, Geo, and what did we see?
One unidentified bumblebee species, which we are not sure, obviously, what species it is, but we've seen something.
Yep, so we've got one thing to submit when we do the data entry for this garden birdwatch at least.
Mm-hmm.
And there are birds around here. We heard quite a few blue tits, there's chiff-chaff singing in the background,
Yeah.
things like lesser black-backed gull and wood pigeon flying over using the general area. So maybe if we really wanted to, we could have got birds if we'd stayed out here a bit longer, but
Yeah.
you know, we're young, busy people with time on pressure and can't do that
Exactly.
for, unfortunately.
Exactly, and I mean, the thing is as well, it takes a while for bird feeders to establish. So once the birds know that there's a source of food, they will come down and they will use it. And sometimes that obviously can vary day to day. For example, I said today there's a lot of bin trucks around.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of disturbance. So it might be that tomorrow I might wake up and there's 3 blue tits on the feeder because there's not as many cars around, for example. So it can vary day to day, and that's why it's important that you do it regularly and on whatever schedule you decide, so you can see if there's a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next bird I'm going to talk about is not a common species by any means. However, it is one that all urban birdwatchers should have on their mind. The black redstart is a scarce species in the UK, but it seems to find itself at home in urban environments. In your garden, it's most likely to be seen in the winter, where they're more attracted to suburban and inner city gardens. Spring and autumn migration, which peaks in March and October for this species, also sees increased numbers in gardens. Before humans and cities appeared, the black redstart was mainly found in mountainous and rocky areas. It appears to have found towns and cities easy to adapt to. Britain is at the northern edge of its range, but is very common in southern parts of Europe in urban areas. In summer, it will also breed in urban areas, but for most people, this will be away from their gardens. They often favour industrial sites, power plants and other areas with tall buildings. Listening out for its short metallic song can help you to find it in the summer. However, it's best to start early in the morning before the city's hustle and bustle begins. That's the end of our video. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like and subscribe.